and welcome to Salation TV. I am your host, Anjana Rai from the Department of Mass Communication and Journalism. On the occasion of Human Rights Day, the faculty members and students of Salesian College Autonomous Sonada have come together to share their ideas and thoughts on the theme, Human Rights are Everyday Essentials.
Today, on Human Rights Day 2026, we are compelled to face a truth that is neither grand nor distant, but stubbornly simple. Human rights are not ideals floating above our lives. They are the very ground beneath our feet. They are as necessary as breath, as hunger, as the quiet dignity we search for in each moment of our existence. Human rights shape the rhythm of ordinary life. They live in the child who walks to school without fear, in the woman who refuses to be silenced in a world that often demands her silence, and in the man who struggles against the weight of expectations that deny him vulnerability, emotional freedom, and the right to safety. They live in every person who still believes that tomorrow can be different. Yet for many, these basic rights remain a horizon they can see but never reach. Each act of discrimination, each blow struck against a woman, each child kept from learning, each man ridiculed for seeking help or expressing pain is not just an injustice, it is a fracture in our shared humanity. A society that calls itself progressive while women tremble in their own homes, or while men fear judgment for their suffering, cannot pretend to be free. A nation that praises development while its girls struggle for the right to sit in a classroom, or its boys face violence in silence, cannot call itself enlightened. And a world that leaves any of its vulnerable unheard has already begun to lose its conscience. This year's theme reminds us of something we often forget. Human rights exist only when we choose to embody them in our laws, in our institutions, and in the quiet recesses of our own behavior. They are not guaranteed by declarations, but by daily acts of courage and decency. They belong to governments, yes, definitely, but they also belong to each one of us who refuses to look away. So on this Human Rights Day, let us commit with steady resolve to transform compassion into action and principle into practice. Human rights are not an ornament of civilization. They are its heartbeat, the fragile yet necessary foundation on which any just and humane society must stand.
Hello everybody, today I would like to say something about human rights. Human rights are not optional. It is a necessity. It is a birthright of every human being on earth. Human rights ensure that everybody, no one should have to beg for basic needs like education, healthcare, shelter, food, etc. If we deny basic rights of people, we don't only break the laws, but it is also a breaking of entire humanity. Therefore, it is our duty to stand up, speak out, and fight for these everyday essentials, because without human rights, there is no peace, no justice, and true future at all.
All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and in right. Hello, I am Rigdan Lepcha from the Department of Political Science, and today I'd like to talk about human rights. On the 10th of December 1948, the United Nations collectively declared the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, guaranteeing the basic inherent rights to every human on earth. Before this, human rights only existed as ideas, which were not guaranteed to anyone. But after 1948, these rights, the right to live, the right to education, and other basic rights were guaranteed to all human beings on earth. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights holds true till this day, and still continues to be the basis on which formal rights, the fundamental rights, and other rights are established in countries. The rights still stand strong today and continue to give us the basic right to live and to educate ourselves and to make better of ourselves.
Hello everyone, this is Dijan Dukpa from the Department of Political Science. So, human rights aren't just big words, they are our daily essentials. The freedom to speak, to study, to work, and to feel safe all come from our rights. They protect our dignity and our choices. By standing up for human rights, we help build a safe and fair world for everyone.
So, you all have probably heard this or will probably hear this several times throughout the course of this video. And the idea of human rights being an inalienable or an universal rights given to or actually belonging to every person or human being regardless of their nationality, gender, social status, etc., or any other status in fact. But this concept of human rights has not just appeared out of nowhere overnight or out of the blue. It has actually evolved over millennia, centuries, and the idea of rights has always existed ever since sentient beings, that is us, on earth have existed, but they've always left out some person or the other. For example, before the idea of rights has always existed since sentient beings, that is us, have existed on earth. However, it wasn't until very recently, which is after World War II and the declaration of the human rights in 10th December 1948, that we had a tangible idea of what human rights are supposed to be. And that it took the catalyst of World War II for human rights to come to the global forefront or to be seen at a global level. It took the extermination by Nazi Germany of 6 million Jews, Romani, and Sinti people. And among them were homosexuals, and among them were also people with disabilities. For the world to finally realize that there is a real need for an establishment of rights for people. And before the establishment of the human rights by the United Nations, although we did have rights, they excluded people like women, they excluded people of color, they excluded people of different sexual orientations. And to that end, I talked about the evolution of rights over millennia, right? And I think a very apt example of that would be the abolition of slavery of the African people in America. And so my point here in saying all of this is I think we should take a moment to really realize where we have reached as people or as a species and as a global community in reaching the place where we are now, a place of peace and a place of stability. And all of these come about because we respect each other's rights. And so on this day of human rights and everything, I think we should really take a moment and look back through history and take a closer look at ourselves and see if we respect the rights of the people around us just as we expect them to respect ours. Thank you.
Human Rights Day is celebrated all over the world on 10 December. This day marks the importance of human dignity, living in equality, and most importantly, understanding the importance of human rights among the people. In this present context, when we see Russia and Syria, the nations do compromise human rights in the context of the war. And when we come to the context of India as such, when we see the conditions forcing people to compromise, especially women selling their body because of the conditions of poverty. A man, a father of the house, has to steal because of the conditions of poverty. And when we, as general people of India, witness people scavenging for food in the heaps of garbage, what do we realize? We realize a sense of inequality that exists in our country. So the concept of human rights is questionable because human rights in theory is working great, but when we see on paper, it's very questionable. So in this context, as a general people, and as a citizen of this country, I have a lot of questions regarding human rights, because living in a country, India, which is a country, India, but India fails to be a country until and unless it gives and recognizes each and every state, each and every individual, and the aspirations of each and every community. Because India is not a nation, it is a union of states. The moment it fails to give importance to each and every subject that it holds within the country, it fails to stand as a country. So lastly, I would say, human right is not a choice. Human right is not a choice. Human right is our responsibility. So we, as a global citizen, we have a lot of responsibilities to not only read and celebrate this day as an important day, but also question human rights. Is the essence of human rights really practiced and is really implemented in the ground zero? So with this, I would like to wish you all a very happy Human Rights Day. Thank you very much.